Welcome to our insightful exploration. Can we really go carbon neutral? A deep dive into the global pursuit of net zero. In this video, we will navigate through key strategies and innovations that are crucial for achieving a net zero future. From the transition to renewable energy and carbon capture technologies to the importance of reforestation and electrifying transportation, we'll cover the multidimensional efforts required to tackle climate change effectively. Join us as we delve into corporate commitments, government policies, and the role of individual action in this critical journey towards a sustainable planet. 1. Transition to renewable energy. Shifting from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power is essential for reducing global emissions. These renewable sources offer a cleaner, more sustainable alternative to coal, oil, and gas. Solar panels and wind turbines are becoming increasingly cost-effective, making them viable options for both developed and developing nations. However, the transition is not as seamless as it seems. Challenges such as energy storage, grid integration, and initial investment costs need to be addressed. Countries like Germany have made significant strides, but the global adoption of renewables is uneven. Ultimately, the transition to renewable energy is a critical component of achieving carbon neutrality. 2. Carbon capture and storage, CCS. Technologies that capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or industrial emissions and store it underground could play a critical role in achieving net zero. Carbon capture and storage, CCS, is like a safety net, capturing emissions that are hard to eliminate entirely. However, the technology is still in its infancy, with high costs and limited deployment. The potential for CCS to offset emissions from industries like cement and steel is promising, yet it requires substantial investment and political will. Meanwhile, some critics argue that CCS may prolong the use of fossil fuels rather than encouraging the shift to renewables. Despite these challenges, CCS remains an integral part of the carbon neutrality puzzle. 3. Reforestation and afforestation. Planting trees and restoring forests help absorb CO, acting as natural carbon sinks. Trees are nature's most efficient carbon capture machines, removing carbon from the air and storing it in their biomass. However, deforestation continues to offset these efforts, driven by agriculture, logging, and urbanization. Reforestation and afforestation initiatives are gaining traction, with countries like Brazil and India committing to large-scale tree planting. Yet, these efforts must be carefully managed to ensure biodiversity and ecosystem balance. While trees are a vital part of the solution, they cannot replace the need for reducing emissions at the source. 4. Electrification of transportation. Expanding electric vehicle, EV, adoption, improving battery technology, and investing in public transit are crucial for reducing transportation-related emissions. Electric vehicles offer a cleaner alternative to gasoline and diesel engines, with the potential to drastically cut emissions from the transportation sector. However, the widespread adoption of EVs faces hurdles such as charging infrastructure, battery production, and consumer acceptance. Public transit systems, like trains and buses, also play a role in reducing the carbon footprint of transportation. Cities like Oslo and Amsterdam are leading the way, but global progress is mixed. Electrification of transportation is a necessary step in the journey toward carbon neutrality. 5. Sustainable agriculture and land use. Regenerative farming, plant-based diets, and reducing food waste can lower the carbon footprint of food production. Agriculture is a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions, but sustainable practices offer a way to mitigate its impact. Regenerative agriculture focuses on soil health, biodiversity, and reducing chemical inputs, while plant-based diets can reduce the demand for resource-intensive livestock. Reducing food waste, both at the consumer and supply chain levels, is another crucial element. Initiatives like community-supported agriculture and urban farming are gaining popularity as more people become aware of the climate impact of their food choices. Sustainable agriculture and land use are essential for achieving carbon neutrality. 6. Corporate net zero commitment. Major companies are pledging to go carbon neutral, but there is skepticism about whether carbon offset programs are truly effective or just greenwashing. Corporate commitments are growing, with companies like Microsoft and Google leading the charge. However, the effectiveness of carbon offset programs, which allow companies to invest in environmental projects to balance their emissions, is debated. Critics argue that offsets can be used as a way to avoid making meaningful emissions reductions. Transparency and accountability are key to ensuring corporate commitments translate into real climate action. Corporate net zero commitments have the potential to drive significant change, but they must be backed by genuine efforts to reduce emissions. 7. Circular economy and waste reduction. Reducing waste, recycling materials, and shifting to a circular economy model can significantly cut emissions from production and consumption. A circular economy seeks to eliminate waste by keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible. This approach reduces the demand for raw materials, lowers emissions from production, and minimizes waste. Recycling, reusing, and repairing are central to the circular economy, but systemic changes are needed to make it the norm. Governments and businesses must work together to create incentives and infrastructure that support circular practices. Waste reduction is a crucial aspect of the path to carbon neutrality, offering a sustainable way to manage resources. 8. Government policies and carbon pricing. Strong climate policies, carbon taxes, and incentives for clean energy investments can accelerate the transition to net zero. Governments play a pivotal role in setting the framework for carbon neutrality through legislation and regulation. Carbon pricing, which assigns a cost to carbon emissions, is one tool that can drive change by making polluting activities more expensive. Incentives for renewable energy investments and penalties for high-emission industries can shift the economic balance in favor of cleaner alternatives. However, political and economic interests often complicate the implementation of strong climate policies. Despite these challenges, government action is essential for creating the conditions necessary for achieving carbon neutrality. 9. Breakthroughs in low-carbon technology. Innovations such as hydrogen fuel, advanced nuclear power, and direct air capture could help bridge the gap toward carbon neutrality. Technological advancements are crucial for reducing emissions in sectors where current solutions are inadequate. Hydrogen fuel, for example, offers a clean energy source for industries and transportation, while advanced nuclear power provides a low-carbon alternative to fossil fuels. Direct air capture technology, which removes carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere, holds promise but is still in the early stages of development. Continued investment in research and development is needed to bring these technologies to scale. Breakthroughs in low-carbon technology are vital for overcoming the challenges of achieving carbon neutrality. 10. Individual and community action. Energy-efficient homes, lifestyle changes, and grassroots initiatives all contribute to reducing emissions at the local level. While systemic changes are necessary, individual and community actions play a significant role in the pursuit of carbon neutrality. Energy-efficient homes, powered by renewable energy and insulated for maximum efficiency, can reduce household emissions. Lifestyle changes, such as reducing meat consumption, using public transit, and minimizing waste, also make a difference. Grassroots initiatives, like community gardens and local climate action groups, empower individuals to take action in their own communities. Collective efforts at the individual and community levels are essential for building momentum toward a carbon-neutral future.